Hey, what's up? This is Scott with Level Up Tutorials, and today we're going to be talking about Rupture for Stylus. Now, Rupture is one of my favorite packages that allows you to do really super easy breakpoints and media queries. So we're going to get started by installing that, then we're going to show you just what Rupture is capable out of the box, and then even get into some of the settings that you can customize Rupture to do exactly what you'd like it to do. So let's get started right now. So the first thing we want to do is come to the Rupture GitHub page, which I will post a link to in the description of this video. And what we can do is scroll down to where we have the command. It's really just npm install Rupture. Now I'm going to install this globally on my system because I don't have a Node package set up for this particular project. I'm just going to install it globally, and that should be just fine. So we can come to our terminal. And I'm going to type sudo because I know I need to. Depending on how your user permissions are set up, you might not or might have to. So I'm going to do sudo npm install and then rupture, just like that. I'm going to verify that I have the spelling correct, R-U-P-T-U-R-E, R-U-P-T-U-R-E. Okay, great. And now I'm going to prefix it with this -G, just like that, to install it globally. So in the past, to watch our stylus, we've done stylus space -u nib. That's to say that we're using nib, and we're then doing -w style.styl. To add another package to watch, we can simply just say -u again and then to rupture. Okay, so now it's looking for nib and it's looking for rupture. We can hit enter and it's going to be watching our files. So let's head back to our CSS here. And what is Rupture really offering us? Well, it's a breakpoint mixin. It's essentially just a breakpoint mixin with some configuration, but it's really cool. It's essentially just this block breakpoint mixin. So you have to start with this plus, and then which particular mixin you're going to use. You'll be able to see there's quite a few different mixins, and this is below. So as you could expect, below 700 pixels, color blue is going to give us color blue with the media query below 700 pixels. Now, so let's see this in action. Let's go ahead and just add it into the bottom of our body here. So I just have below 700 pixels, color is going to be blue. And if you save this, we can see here that directly below our body, CSS, we've been given this new media query where it says screen and max width, and that max width is going to be, when I slide over, 700 pixels. Inside of there, we're going to have the body as getting a color of this blue that we have here. So like you see, we can put this media query inside of our element declaration, or we could put it outside as well. In fact, if we were to have something in here just like main, now color is also blue, just like that, you'll see that it correctly knows to go inside of this media query to do body main color here. So we can have our elements and properties inside of here, or we can just have our properties inside of here, and it's going to know what to do exactly. So that's one of the great things about Rupture, is it's just really easy to sort of drop in here. If we needed just a quick thing, it's just really nice and easy to say plus below and this value. So let's say we want a more structured breakpoint grid. We want these breakpoints that we're going to use all the time. So let's go ahead and check out the Rupture documentation. If we scroll down here, you can see that we can add things like rupture.scale, which is going to set up a few breakpoints for us. And that's going to be 6 different sort of areas between 0 and 400, whatever. And so what we can do is essentially copy this rupture.scale into our style sheet here, and we would be able to modify these however we see fit. This would obviously be, it's 0 index based, so 0 would be 0, 1 would be 400 pixels, 2 would be 600 pixels. And let's see how we can use that. Well, we're going to go ahead and use a different breakpoint here. If we scroll down, you'll see that we have all sorts of different, from above, from width, below, to width, between, at. So with at, you can use the scale measures, and what that is basically our variables right here. So we can say plus at And then inside of the parentheses, we can say 2. This is going to trigger the 600 pixel width right here. So at our second breakpoint, we can say, again, color, let's just do red. Now you can see we have media only screen width 400 pixels and max width 600 pixels. So why is that? Well, if we come up here, you can see that this scale right here, this at this second breakpoint, is actually going to be giving us this range between these two breakpoints. Now let's go ahead and try to use this with above. So now that we've saved this, you can see that what we're getting here is at media only screen and minimum width is 400 pixels. What if we were to say below? Now it's maximum width of 600 pixels. So this might be a little weird, but it always comes back to this sort of scale, right? We have the first areas between 0 and 400. So if you were to say above 1, it would give you the 0 value. If you were to say below, it would give you 400 pixels. Since we're doing above 2, it gives you 400. Where we were to say below, like we did just now, it gives us 600. So it is this sort of between area, okay? Now, what if we wanted to make this a little bit more obvious, right? We wanted to give this some names. We wanted to give these scales some names. So typically when you're working with breakpoints, perhaps you have different scale names. For instance, extra small, small, large. Maybe even it's tablet or something like that, phone, tablet, whatever you're working with. Here we essentially have this variable that's rupture.scaleNames, and we can set it equal to these following strings. Now inside of our breakpoint, now in quotes, we can just say something like medium. So let's say above at our medium breakpoint, it's now going to give us a minimum width of 600 pixels. So with a minimum width, let me bump down the font size here. With a minimum width of 600 pixels, we are now applying these colors. So above our medium breakpoint, that's going to give us red. Now again, we could just keep on adding these like this. So we could do XL right here and give this a color of blue. And now this is going to give us our media queries for that width. So once the width is greater than 1050, it's going to be giving us that breakpoint. So really what this is it's just a shorthand for quickly adding media queries, but more importantly, you can sort of add them anywhere, and it makes it really nice and convenient. If you perhaps maybe just want to change one little thing, you don't have to write this whole media query outside of whatever you're writing. You can just sort of drop it in as its own property essentially, and it will just work, and it's going to know how to pull everything out for you. Now there's a lot of other features in here worth your checking out. There's some anti-overlapping. You can do things with density, so you can modify what kind of density the device is at. You can use this rasterized media queries essentially to produce a second style sheet just for Internet Explorer browsers that can't read media queries. So now what kind of mix-ins come in here? We did above, we did below, and we did at. However, there are other things like between, and then you can pass it two sizes. There's from width, where you can pass it basically the same thing as above. It's just an alias, and to width is an alias for below. Now we also have things like mobile, which is going to be defined as a screen size of 400 pixels. You can actually override that by changing this variable, rupture.mobileCutoff. Same thing with tablet, desktop, HD. So as you can see here, this is a breakpoint package, but you're not limited to just these simple breakpoints. It really does a lot to give you the ability to make your breakpoint experience sort of as customized as you'd like it to be, and really sort of super convenient. So I would definitely come through the documentation to see everything that exists here, but with these basics, you should be able to get up and running and just start throwing in some mix-ins for your everyday use. And then once you want to check out what sort of advanced things you can just sort of add those features or abilities in as you go. So this is Rupture. I pretty much use it on every project, especially because most projects are now responsive. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you have any questions or comments, leave a comment in the video, hit us up at Twitter or Level Up Tuts. We love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.